Hello, my name's Jerry Radigan, and I'm excited to share with you a few minutes of key insights to help you get the confidence to be successful in building trust with someone you meet for the first time. I hope you enjoy.
And I want you all to take a moment and imagine you're this close to meeting the person that could put you in connection with your dream job. Or maybe it's that sale that you'll obtain, that dream vacation that you want to go on with your family. Well, in that moment, it's all on the line. It's your time to perform. So what I want to share with you is easy to remember steps when you're in that situation that you can remember. And these takeaways can be shared amongst your team members, amongst your mentees, and others you come into daily contact with. But when you think about meeting people for the first time, I think about all our reservations, our fears. Most people fear taxes, public speaking. Another fear is meeting someone for the first time, building a connection. And the challenge in that relationship is building trust. Don't think networking, think relationship building. Now, why is that important? Well, the reason is our mindset. A lot of us, networking is a negative word. It brings back the fears that we have inside. Our stress levels start to build up. But if we reframe our mindset to think and overcome that fear, relationship building. We all have relationships with our family members, people at work. This is something that we have transferable skills we've built over our career, over our life, that can be easily implemented in a session where we're meeting people for the first time. What is the most important thing when you're meeting? And for this discussion, we'll talk about a career fair where you're going into a situation to try and get that dream job. So preparation is key. And in a career fair, for job participants who don't know, who haven't entered the workforce before, or don't necessarily have the expectations of what they should know, some of the tips that I share, again, checking out the website, looking at prior events, and seeing what others in that event, what they wore. Is it a more casual event where a polo and slacks or jeans is appropriate? Or through some of the pictures, are they suit and tie? So again, that's where you can do a bit more reconnaissance work to understand, to be able to be prepared in a situation. Because what you don't want to do is show up and then feel like an outsider where you're already stressed out from dealing with someone for the first time. My second tip, again, has to do with the way you think. And it is a positive attitude is your friend. And that's where how you think of things is so important. I go back to one of my early mentors, Dale Carnegie. And what I always remember from early days, one of his sayings is that you live in day-tight compartments. So whatever happened yesterday, you're not going to let it bother you today. You're going to reset. Yesterday was yesterday. Today's today. And I'm a new person. I have a new chance for success. Where, again, going into a relationship building and networking activity, coming in with a positive mindset is going to allow the other person to get more comfortable with you. Just think of the people in your life that you don't necessarily resonate well with, or ones that you choose not to associate with more than you have to. And some of those things that I would put on the list, if you were to write a list of what about them that doesn't associate well with you, most likely it's their attitude. So that's something that if we just keep in mind in a relationship when we're meeting it for the first time, it's that impression. A positive attitude goes so far and help develop that trust. Another important trust building factor, we all have it, and I'll go around the room to confirm, but we all have a $1 million smile. And I see a few coming out right now. But put it to use. It's something that, again, I'll share my failures on the interview trail. Oftentimes I would make it through, and my background is accounting, a CPA, a very reserved personality. I don't necessarily come out and use it to the best of my advantage in meeting people for the first time, but that's a detriment to building that trust factor where you smile, you're putting the other person at ease. It's a component of confidence. So by smiling, it's showing the other person you trust yourself, you trust your ability, you're relaxed, you're calm, cool and collected, and you can get the job done. Number 4, what's very important for meeting someone for the first time, a strong handshake. Very important. But let's talk about how people get it wrong. We talk about it, we say it, but in practice, some of the failures that I've seen and I've done at times is people that will close their hand before the other person comes through. So for example, I'm going in, I'm closing my hand too early, which then makes it a bit awkward. So a tip to think of if you ever think you're in that situation, be the last person to close the grip, because there's no way that he's going to let me push my arm any further. So it's a way that you can always confirm that you're going to have a good grip. Again, something important in building trust and communicating to someone you meet for the first time, having a clear, concise introduction, and have it no more than 30 seconds. Now, why is this important? 1, you want to make sure that you organize your thoughts. You want to have a tagline, a selling point. You want to clearly articulate and persevere through that first obstacle in the relationship. And when you think about it too, it's a two-way communication. So you don't want to spew everything to the other person and not give them an opportunity for follow-up. So that's important. Leave them wanting more and that initial opening that you give. What's important in a relationship? Having great questions. And the reason great questions are important, it's going to confirm that you're interested in the other person as well as that you're listening. That's a challenge we face in our communication, is making sure that we're listening and we can talk back to the other person. And lastly, as I wrap up, what's important in every interaction is a perfect close and exit. Make sure you ask about next steps. In a job fair, well, what can I expect to happen in this interview process? When should I expect to hear back from a recruiter? What should I do to help expedite the process? So these are all questions we can use in that process. And these are easy steps that we can implement just to have more confidence, to build that trust factor to a higher level in our interaction.